The NBA standings are absolutely insane. We have all the scenarios that you need to know leading into the final week of action in the association. A new celebration for Ja Morant that's causing even more controversy. We're talking Lakers Rockets tonight. We're previewing that matchup. Are the Lakers the team to beat in the NBA? Also a tragedy in Major League Baseball. All that more coming up next on The Big Lead.
This is the business. Yeah.
What is up, and welcome to the Big Lead Podcast. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Now, if you're new to the Big Lead, it is the hottest stories in sports in less than an hour. Everything that you need to know that's going on in the sports world, on the court, on the field, off the court. Everything you need to know, you're going to find it right here. So hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Also, we're doing a giveaway. We are giving away a Luka Doncic purple and gold authentic Nike Lakers jersey as soon as we hit to 2,000 subscribers. Once we do that, we are giving away to one lucky winner, and all you have to do is comment Luka Magic down below to make yourself eligible. So be sure to subscribe, comment Luka Magic, have the notifications on, and rock with us here on The Big Lead. But we got lots to get into, so let's get right into it. We're going to start with the association, and we've got to start with Lakers Rockets tonight. The Lakers taking on the Houston Rockets. The Rockets, a team that has surprised some. The second seed in the Western Conference at 52-28. They've clinched, and this Lakers team has just remained steady. And now they're in a spot where they can lock up that 3 seed this weekend as well. And for tonight's matchup, the biggest thing for the Lakers is the fact that you're looking at a Houston team that is in a position where you don't need this game. And because of that, that's going to put the Lakers in a great spot to get that 3 seed with them resting their starters. So I look for tonight, the Lakers to go out there, get that win. And I think the big question is, are they going to be on any minutes restrictions, anything like that? I don't expect that, but rock with me today, Mr. Noel Sanchez, Young Lotto. You guys know him and love him. What do you make of tonight's Rockets game, man? I know you've been following the Rockets closely. I think that they have kind of gotten it together sooner than a lot of people expected. They're a team with a lot of young talent, but we could see this matchup down the line.
Yeah, no, I think it's just a game where the Lakers need to go out and just handle business like they have the second half of the season since getting Luka, since making trades, and since getting healthy. Just go out there, play your game, go into the postseason on a good note, and lock up that 3rd seed. Don't leave any room for anything to happen. This Western Conference is wild, like it always is at this time of the year. And I think with the Rockets sitting out there, guys, you're not going to be able to continue scouting them like you have been. But you got to face this team a number of times. The scouting report, Sengun is the focal point of their offense. Amen Thompson is the X factor. I think if the Lakers were to see this team in the second round, if everything pans out for both squads, and they're a young team. Jalen Green hasn't been in the postseason before. Other guys that they have on their squad, Sengun hasn't been there. Van Fleet and Dylan Brooks are the 2 veterans on this team. Van Fleet has won a championship before. Dylan Brooks notoriously got into it with LeBron 2 years ago in the postseason. So the Lakers have nothing but experience on their hands, and they have a lot of momentum coming in. Just take care of business tonight.
Absolutely. That's what you got to do. The Lakers should win this game. I think they will win this game. It's a 7:30 tip at Crypto.com Arena. And hey, we saw Sengun and Smith and Fred VanVleet. They were all listed as questionable. And then now we know that Sengun, he's out for personal reasons. Fred VanVleet, he's out with an injury. Amen Thomas, and he's out. And Dylan Brooks is out for rest. So those guys have all been ruled out. You got 7 Rockets players are going to be sidelined, including Jamari Smith, Jr., Jason Tate, and Tari Eason. So, yeah, I think that there's a couple ways you can look at this game, too, is that both these teams are playing for different reasons, right? The Lakers are playing to just take care of business, get the job done, and get rest. The Lakers have not avoided the play-in game since 2020. And now my biggest takeaway is the Lakers have secured the right to where a team has to beat LeBron, Luka Doncic, and Austin Reeves 4 times in a 7-game series. I don't care if you're a top-seeded team, a low-seeded team, home or away, young talent, veteran talent. That is not going to be easy to do. And I know it gets thrown out a lot. It's a big cliche. This is a dangerous team. No one wants to play these guys. That's thrown out a ton in the NBA. But for the Lakers, it's an absolute fact because the truth is they're a 3 seed. They're a 3 seed that would not, they possibly would be a 2 seed. Who knows? They could have contended to be a 1 seed if you had a healthy Luka Doncic and LeBron James and Austin Reeves on their team the entire season. So it's not a true seed. So I look at that right there, and I look at the fact that the Lakers playing with the confidence. You just got 2 months of Luka Doncic, and the truth is they're still adapting to life with Luka. So yeah, this Lakers team is ready to get things going. I like them hopefully in the first round facing off against a Warriors team just because I don't want to see any drop off. You know that they're going to come to play if it's Golden State versus LA. I think that series could draw more TV viewers than probably most series outside of the Western and Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, that would be a ratings bonanza. Do you think that's the series we end up seeing in the first round, though, Noel?
It's going to be a scary one if so, man. You've seen the Warriors, just like the Lakers, since the trade deadline, since getting a new star in Jimmy Butler, the way they've gelled. Draymond has had like a complete 180. I mean, he's going to finish top 2 in Defensive Player of the Year. I think ultimately it's going to go to Evan Mobley. But you even saw when the Lakers and Warriors faced off, it's going to be the role players that I think decide how that series would go. If it goes down, you know what you're going to get out of Luka, LeBron, AR, and then on the Warriors side, Curry and Butler. But I mean, ultimately, Brandon Podziemski was the difference maker in that game. You're going to see, just like a couple years ago when they faced off, Lonnie Walker was the guy that won them that game. So as fearful as I am of that series, it is looking like with all the scenarios that will be what plays out. And like you said, I think the ratings are going to be off the charts. The NBA is going to love it. Laker fans might not love it, though, because the Warriors are not an easy team to face right now.
For sure. And I see Warriors out there saying, I want the Lakers. I'm like, stop lying. You don't want the Lakers. First of all, handle your business, okay? Don't talk about the first round when you just got a game winner.
Yeah, you're not there yet.
Let's focus on the task at hand if you're a Warriors team. And the Lakers have the talent advantage in that one. And I think that, for me, the interesting thing just heading into that series is the lineup for the Lakers. Because the Lakers lineup with Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Dorian Finney-Smith, Rui Hachimura, and LeBron James, a plus 22.6 per 100 possessions. You look at a number like that. We talk about death lineups. We talk about your optimized lineup. That certainly could play a factor. And then you wonder, with Draymond Green on the other side, do you have a Jackson Hayes and kind of how he matches up? So Lakers, they're in a good spot. Now, switching gears, the playoff scenarios, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild for tonight, though. Let's give you a quick rundown. So Denver clinches a playoff spot with a win and a loss by either a LA Clippers or Golden State or Minnesota. So if the Clippers, Warriors, or Timberwolves lose and Denver, they win, they clinch a playoff spot. The Clippers clinch a playoff spot with a win and a loss by the Nuggets, Warriors, or Timberwolves. Golden State clinches a playoff spot with a win and losses by Memphis or Minnesota. Memphis, they're locked into the play-in tournament with a loss and a Golden State win. Minnesota's locked into the play-in tournament with a loss and wins by Denver, the Clippers, and Golden State. Los Angeles, the Lakers, the purple and gold, they'll clinch the Pacific Division title with a win or a Clippers loss. So the standings are absolutely bunched up in a way that we've never seen. Lots of really, really good teams with similar talent levels and similar records. Outside of the Thunder, it's a lot of quality opponents. There really is no easy outs in that first round. And I think if you're Adam Silver in the NBA, this is exactly what you wanted. You wanted relevant basketball down the stretch. I I think Rob Manfred needs to take some notes there. But Adam Silver, you're getting exactly what you wanted with the play-in tournament. Guys want to avoid it. You want the additional rest, but also it's giving teams that may have struggled to make the playoffs opportunities to find their way in. I mean, I look like a team like the Dallas Mavericks. You trade Luka, 80's out. It looks like the sky's falling. You're still in the mix in some capacity. So it feels like this has accomplished something for the NBA.
You look back a couple of years ago, LeBron was the biggest critic of the play-in tournament. And when it first happened, he said that whoever came up with the idea needed to be fired. It's helped LeBron out a number of times already since it's been implemented. And you want NBA fans to be tuned in all throughout the season, specifically through the middle of the year and specifically right before the postseason. Adam Silver's achieved that with both the in-season tournament and with the play-in tournament. So, I mean, all hats should be tipped to him. And you look at teams like the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Memphis Grizzlies, the Sacramento Kings, Dallas Mavericks, so many talented teams, especially on the Western Conference, that you're not going to be able to get all of them in the postseason. So to still see them with really talented players, DeMar DeRozan, Anthony Edwards, John Morant, all these guys that you might not see them in actual postseason, but you at least get some really competitive basketball before their season's over.
That's a great point. I mean, and if you're a fan, you're not going to see guys in street clothes because there's no reason to see them playing. And that's absolutely what you want to see. It's never going to capture that similar, NCAA tournament one and done type of feel. But the truth of the matter is seeding is important, especially to younger teams, and rest is important. Those are the things that people realize in the NBA. We've only seen it once where it's the 95 Rockets. They are able to get to the mountaintop as the 6th seed. So the history tells us that if you don't finish with the top seed, 1 through 4, your chances of getting that final trophy of winning the NBA Finals are very slim. But let's take a look real quickly at what else is at stake. Who's locked so far? Who still has work to do? And man, Oklahoma City's had some talented rosters. They've had some great teams in their franchise's history. But the thing that this year, 66-14. So here are the teams that have locked up their seeding in the Western Conference final, in the Western Conference. The OKC, man, a net rating of 12.4. That's first. They've clinched the number 1 seed. What's at stake for them? Well, you got a first round series versus the number 8 seed. And that could be, ready for it? Denver, Clippers, Golden State, Minnesota, Memphis, Sacramento, or Dallas.
Insane.
A grab bag. They're like, who? Think about that. Can you think about this? Denver. Can you imagine Golden State? I mean, Memphis is a team that we thought had a chance to be a top 3 seed.
Yeah.
I mean, Sacramento, they got Zach LaVine, but Dallas. But can you imagine if you finish with the 1 seed and your reward is a rejuvenated Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Golden State team, or I mean, it's unlikely, but a Jokic-led Denver team?
I'd be super pressed, but also that would be pretty insane because you have the 2 guys that are at the head of the MVP race, Shea.
That would be great. Television-wise,
that'd
it's
be
cool.
amazing. But if I'm OKC, I'm like, this is our reward. This is our reward for being so far ahead of everyone else in our conference and rebuilding the right way, making great trades and drafting great, and finally, we have a team that's a year older than our loss in the second round. This is our reward to go against one of these guys. It's pretty crazy.
I've always been the advocate for this. I've been saying this for years, that in these type of scenarios, whether it be Major League Baseball or college football, anytime there's that team that's so much better than the rest that finishes with that 1 seed, and then they kind of get matched up with a team that is better on paper than their seeding indicates, that 1 seed should be able to pick their opponent. Yeah, I think it'd be exciting because I think that opponent's like, well, you want to play us? And you got to bring the best out of them. But second team that's locked up their seeding, the Houston Rockets, 52-28, 5.6 net rating. That's 4th. They've clinched the number 2 seed. What's at stake for them? First round series versus the number 7 seed. Could be Denver, Clippers, Golden State, Minnesota, or Memphis. So that's what's at stake for them. You don't see the Lakers, which I think is good for them. And then next tier is playoff bound, and then seeding that is still TBD. Lakers are right at the top of that, 49-31. Their net rating, 1.2, just 14th. That tells you that the team is much more improved. Luka Doncic, and that's more telling the story the entire year. But they've clinched a playoff berth. Their magic number for the number 3 seed is 1. You've got Houston at home, then Portland on the road. If you win tonight, you could rest the starters against Portland. Their highest probable finish is 3. Lowest possible finish, though, is 5. The tiebreakers, they got the Clippers 3-1, the Golden State Warriors 3-1, Memphis 3-1. So what's at stake for them is home court advantage in the first round. So you got the Rockets resting starters. I expect the Lakers to lock up the 3 seed tonight. Then battling for a guaranteed spot, Denver at 40-32. Their magic number for a top 6 seed is 2. You got Memphis at home, then on the road against Houston. Highest possible finish is 3. Denver can still finish as high as 3. Lowest possible finish is at 8. They have tiebreakers 1 over Golden State. What's at stake for them is home court advantage in the first round, avoiding the play-in tournament. So they're interesting to me because they just fired their head coach. Absolute shocker. You still have arguably the best player in the NBA. So they're the wild card to me in this playoffs. They could go out in the first round, go out sad, or maybe just make a deep run.
Yeah, big time. And you made a good point off camera the other day. You said if this team with their new coach, after firing Michael Malone, after firing their GM, if they flame out quickly, you're going to say, well, look at the changes they made. Like, it's not their fault. It's a team that has been depleted by the new CBA. But if they make a run, it's like they're geniuses. It's like they took this massive bet late in the season and it all worked out. But yeah, just like any other team, I think the you don't want to see the Denver Nuggets. You don't want to see Nikola Jokic, who is arguably playing the best basketball of his career. Jamal Murray, who, even though he still hasn't gained that all-star nod, even though he's still been a little inconsistent in the regular season, he's a big-time shot maker. He comes to play. MPJ hasn't had the best of years this year either, but still a sniper next to Jokic, the perfect role player. And yeah, I think no matter who they match up against, it's going to be a great game.
And playing in Denver just isn't fun.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's horrible. The altitude, the crowd's solid. Jamal turns into a different player around this time of year, so I won't want to play them. 5 is the Clippers. Clippers 40-32. Their magic. Oh, I didn't know that.
Wait, I didn't know that either.
I don't know if I'm necessarily a Clippers fan, but I like going to the games. I like entry.
My man's was rocking a Lakers shirt like 2 days ago.
He was. Producer THR.
The homie Rob is a Clipper fan. No, I respect that, honestly. One thing I will say with the Clippers is, like, a lot of people can go to Clipper games. It's sometimes next to impossible to go to Laker games.
Exactly.
So I'm all for people seeing more basketball in person. But yeah, the Clippers, they're an interesting spot too. I mean, even the Clippers, highest possible finish could be 3. Lowest possible finish, 8. They have the tiebreakers over Golden State and Memphis. What's at stake for them? Home court advantage in the first round, avoiding the play-in tournament. The Warriors is going to be the most interesting one to watch down the stretch for me. 47-33. The top spot that they can go, the magic number for the top 6 seed is 2. Their remaining schedule at Portland, they host the Clippers to end their season, and the highest possible finish for them is 4. So the best they can do is host a home playoff series in the first round against the 5 seed. Lowest possible finish, though, is 8. You're looking at the Thunder in round 1. They won the tiebreaker against Memphis. So what's at stake for Golden State? Home court advantage in the first round, avoiding the play-in tournament. Memphis still in the mix. They don't control their own destiny, though. They don't have a magic number. You got games at Denver and then at home to finish the regular season against the Mavericks. Highest possible finish is a 4 seed as well. Lowest is an 8. It's chaos. It's chaos in the Western Conference Final. And the Western Conference is absolutely nuts right now. And what they're looking for is home court advantage in the first round and avoiding that play-in tournament. Then 8, Minnesota, 47-33. Same situation. Highest possible finish at 4 seed. Lowest possible finish at 8 seed. They have the tiebreakers against the Clippers, Denver, Golden State, Memphis. What's at stake for them? Home court advantage in the first round of winning the play-in tournament. And then the next tier is this. Play-in bound teams. Their seeding is to completely be determined. The Kings are still in the mix at 39-41, under 500. Their magic number for the 9 seed is 1. You got the Clippers at home and Phoenix at home to end the regular season. The highest possible finish for them is 9. Lowest possible finish is 10. So what's at stake for them is home court advantage in the 9-10 game. So they're going to be in against Dallas. Then Dallas, they don't control their own destiny. Highest possible is 9. Lowest possible is 10. So they're looking at that play-in game as well. And then tonight you got Raptors at Mavs, Grizzlies at Nuggets, Nets at T-Wolves, Clippers at Kings, Warriors at Blazers, Rockets at Lakers. So that is the Western Conference. And it's the Wild Wild West. The East seeding, Still pretty wild, but not as wild as the West. But we are going to shift gears to Memphis and Minnesota. A great game for the association. Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards going back and forth. That's the kind of basketball I like to see. Young superstars, personalities going toe to toe in prime time. That is the NBA I know and love. And Ant was great, efficient, 13 of 19, 44 points. My man went off. Nice game for Julius Randle too. Put up 31 and 10 and 5. And then Ja Morant, G.I. Ja, goes 13 for 27, 36 points. But the Grizzlies fall at home to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 141 to 125. But of course, no one's talking about the game. No one's talking about Anthony Edwards' brilliant night, 44 points. But I'm going to spend a little time talking about it because we'll get to Ja Morant's new celebration. But here's some post-game reaction from the Wolves side.
Julius been super aggressive out of the gate of late. Try to set the tone for us. He kind of got us going, and then Ant just picked up there when Julius left midway through the first. Both those guys were outstanding. Really aggressive in what they were doing. They got to it quickly. Really benefited from good screens and just pretty good execution there around them. So. Heck of a game. It was a shootout. Both teams had their offense cranked up. It was hard to get these guys contained in the first half. We got our energy from our defense, which was where we needed it. Got a couple plays that got us a little bit in transition, and we got some great looks from three. Everybody kind of, again, took really good shots, and, it started to snowball. So.
And then here is Anthony Edwards. By the way, Noel, there's been all these former players that are kind of hitting on their podcast. I think Gil's been great, Gilbert Arenas. Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of good ones. I mean, Paul George, and I think all the Smoke podcasts. If I had to pick one player currently in the NBA that I want to listen to his post-career podcast, I'm going Anthony Edwards.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
I don't think there would be anything scripted.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's just stream of consciousness. Some guys are just funny.
Yeah.
Some guys that you can't explain it, but they're just funny and engaging. They have personality and charisma. He's got that.
Have you seen his YouTube channel by chance?
I've seen a couple clips for sure.
So he has this documentary series right now. He's kind of year 5 because his 5th year in the NBA. And he's just it's a directed video. It's 10 minutes. He'll be in front and he'll just be talking about what's going on at his life and the season, the moment, just had a daughter, but you would love it. He's super unhinged. I think it's a sneak peek of what he's going to do later on.
I'm telling you, can you imagine? I mean, he's just going to say what he wants, man. And that's what I respect about him. But here's Anthony Edwards after the game.
We got cussed out at halftime, especially myself, about my effort on defense. So we put emphasis on that side of the court.
What caused it to slip early? What was you supposed to do?
Game plan mistakes. It's myself. I'm talking about blown game plan mistakes, mental mistakes that I shouldn't be making. And with 5 years of experience in the league, I shouldn't make those game plan mistakes. So I gotta be better. All of them, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like that. I mean, he's always accountable too. You got to give him respect for that. But really, what people were talking about after the game was the new Ja Morant celebration. My wife was sleeping. I said, "Babe, wake up! The new Ja celebration has just dropped." I mean, he went from finger guns, pew pew, to now we're looking at full blown explosives. My man's. He brings out the grenade. The grenade drops the needle, kind of lets it roll right there, and he throws the grenade. I just don't understand why the whole crowd doesn't go boom right when it falls on him. But look, the truth is, optics-wise, you don't love this for sure, right? You don't love this optics-wise. I mean, I like this one. By the way, where's the wedding ring, Dirk? Dirk, no wedding ring.
Yo.
That's in his pocket. He saw Taylor Rooks put that ring right in his pocket. when Taylor Rooks and
She even gets the retired players acting different.
she gets everyone acting. She gets like me on the show acting different, and we're not even in the same room, right? I'm even acting different right now too. I throw the grenade and do. It's crazy what the kind of powers that Taylor Rooks has. That needs to be studied on a whole other segment. But as far as John Morant goes, I do think that there's a couple ways you can kind of look at this. I mean, he's at the point now where anything he does is going to get ridiculed, is going to be discussed, is going to cause some controversy just because of the history that he does have. Everyone thinks that, oh, John Morant, he wants to be a gangster so bad. John Morant, he came from a good household and has loving parents, and he doesn't need to try to be that guy. On the same token, it's like, I mean, who's this hurting, right? I mean, who's the number one broadcaster in the NBA right now? It's Mike Breen. What's Mike Breen's famous call? Bang! Right? Does anyone want Mike Breen to stop doing the bang call? Right? Throwing some fake hand grenades, covering his ears. And the thing is, he's doubled down on it. John Morant said after the game to reporters about the new celebration, he said, that's my celebration now until somebody else has a problem with it, and I'll find another one. He was fined $75,000 for the other one where he was doing the finger guns and doing the pew pew. And he said, I wasn't surprised about the penalty, just showing people what it's pretty evident for the last 2 years, what's kind of been going on. So I think for him, it's tough. I mean, Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal and Kane the Jet Smith said after the game that Ja has a, quote, history that maybe he shouldn't be doing that. He knows what he's doing because y'all are going to keep talking about it. So I think there is truth to that. It does look immature for sure. I wish he wouldn't do this. It's kind of a thing where the number one reason why, all jokes aside, I don't want to see him doing this is because he's such a good player. We should be talking about how good of a player he is, not these immature sellies in these celebrations. The celebration I want to see him have is celebrating with his teammates after winning a playoff series, after winning a championship. They've only won one playoff series with John Morant. And all jokes aside, it's not like his career is being wasted, but 20, 34 years from now, it's like, we're going to talk about John Morant, this guy that got all these like this little silly, controversial altercations. But I will say the guy is so freaking unhinged. Like, he just feels so unhinged. I mean, my man went from firearms to explosives in the matter of a couple of weeks after getting fined. I mean, Adam Silver is going to do something, right, Noel? I mean, would you think so? At least have it. They got to communicate this.
The NBA doesn't play. Adam Silver doesn't play, especially when, like, he didn't even wait till like the playoffs. He didn't wait a couple weeks. It was literally the day after he got fined that he fired up the same, or the day after he got a warning, he fired up the same celebration. And then it's almost like he just had another one in the bank. Like, I saw a meme where it's like the GTA loadout when you switch weapons, and it was like Ja's celebration.
Oh yeah, I saw it with the circle around him.
And you know, I'm a big John Morant fan. I think he's one of the most exciting players in the league. And when he was available and healthy in 2022, 2023, going at the Lakers, going at the Warriors, there was a little mini rivalry there for a little bit. It was looking like he was, I wouldn't say going to take the torch from Steph Curry, but he was one of the few guards that wasn't scared to go up at him to kind of be one of the premier guards that could play a big game. But he's
always been fearless.
Yeah. And the way I see it is he was never going to be the face to NBA because I wouldn't say because of the way he carries himself, but he just doesn't fit that same usual mold we've seen. But I think that he was on the trajectory to be one of the like icons. There's faces and there's icons. Allen Iverson, icon. John Morant, even Allen Iverson took a picture of his MVP trophy and said, Ja, like he tagged him. He's like, you up next. So he's
absolutely
still super young.
He was going to be in that Allen Iverson, Russell Westbrook, guys that you just, they're fans, ride or die for them.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And you can't explain why you love a player like John Morant more than you love a player like Jason Tatum.
Exactly.
But the truth is, like, one John Morant fan equals like 50 Jason Tatum fans.
Exactly.
You know, and you just can't explain that. But I'm just saying, what's it going to be next? Next is going to be like rocket launcher.
So he did. You know what I mean? So his first came back from injury when he played the Pelicans last year. They were in New Orleans. So there was like a Louisiana dance. It was where he went like this. Like, we could find the clip after. But
Of the rocket launcher?
He was doing a dance like this. But here's what I'm noticing, Doug. People don't care when he does the celebrations unless it's on a national TV game. because he did the grenade like 3 days ago. Nobody cared, but he does it on TNT against the Timberwolves. Everybody cares now.
Yeah. If I'm John Morant, man, I get it. I understand it. I think that people are making a bigger deal than it needs to be, but you have to understand that kids look up to you. Fans want you to do well.
Nike deal.
I mean, like I texted you, man. I was saying, like, I haven't seen someone sabotage his marketability like this in years. And it's just because companies aren't going to line up to endorse you. And not like he needs it with that kind of contract and things like that. But still, I mean, the truth is with John Morant, just the cold hard truth is he should be a bigger star than he is right now. And he's talked about, but the difference between being famous and infamous, right? And he's talked about for ways that don't celebrate his basketball skills. And yeah, the G.I. Jaw thing is, I mean, the G.I. Jaw nickname is fire, though.
Yeah,
I will say that. The G.I. Jaw nickname is fire. We got some chats. Let's get the Kid Indy rocking with us over on YouTube. I believe we will beat the Warriors. We already beat the Nuggets like 3 times, and we should have beaten OKC 2 times. That wasn't there. OKC, KFC, I mean, Lakers in 5 for sure. I mean, I think that I love how people are already saying this is a Lakers podcast because that's essentially what it's kind of been. So yeah, we got Anthony says G.I. Jaw is savage. Kid Indy, do you think we will have a Lakers and Celtics matchup? Kid Indy. I mean, if you look at the odds right now, the Lakers are the second best odds to come out of the Western Conference. So you get through the West. The East, I still think the Celtics are the team. So, I mean, if you look at the Eastern Conference Finals odds, I mean, it's tough to go past the Celtics. So the NBA would love that. So wouldn't you kind of read into the tinfoil hat wearers? I mean, you get Luke on the Lakers in the first year at Celtics. That would not help the NBA conspiracy theorists out there. But let's switch gears and stay in the association and talk about the Suns. The Phoenix Suns, this has been, I want to say, the worst year that a contending or supposed to be contending team was ever going to have. This has been the most disappointing season for an NBA team in the history of the sport. The largest payroll in NBA history, and you can't make the playoffs in a league where more than half of the teams get a chance. That's inexcusable. This is going down as the very worst, most disappointing team we've ever seen. You lose 8 of your final 11 games. You end up losing 8 straight, all by double digits, and 3 at home by 30 plus points. And I just want to say something. I think Kevin Durant, as good of a player as he is, for some reason, he doesn't take the heat that LeBron James takes. I don't even think that he takes that heat that great players on great teams are supposed to take. When he went to the Warriors, man, I could have played the 5 on that team and they want to win a championship. That team was so stacked. And of course, he was the best player on that Warriors team. He won those 2 finals MVPs, the biggest reason why they won. But outside of that, it's been a mixed bag. And yes, you have Bradley Beal, who outside of LeBron James, he has the only no trade clause. But that team in Phoenix, the year that they put together, it is a case study. I mean, you go out there, you got the most expensive roster in the NBA. They entered the season with championship expectations. And also it was the hubris. Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, this unstoppable big 3 that was supposed to win the West and represent them in the finals. This offense was supposed to be unguardable. Well, of course, that was according to Devin Booker.
I mean, saying it respectfully, I don't know how teams are going to guard us.
Oh, teams guarded you pretty well. Teams guarded you pretty well to the point where you didn't make the playoffs. And that ownership group, Matt Ashiba, he took over in 2023, and things have gotten worse. And the crazy thing about this is you're just a few years removed from when they won a franchise record 64 games. And you were right at the doorstep of a championship. You had Chris Paul and you lose in the finals against that Bucks team. And I think the question moving forward is, how quickly can you blow it up? What do you try to do? Because the truth is, as bad as this season is, you don't have your assets. You don't have your picks. You're in second apron hell. And it's going to be a long, ugly rebuild for Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Bum. I mean, check that. Bradley Beal. It's just been extremely ugly. I mean, the Suns have had, literally, if you're going to look it up, the worst, most disappointing season in NBA history. I mean, you can look at the Lakers team with Steve Nash and Dwight Howard and some of these teams throughout the years that were supposed to be great and didn't quite deliver. But this team is right at the top. I mean, just a poorly assembled roster. It was too top heavy. Yeah, a 37-year-old injury-prone Kevin Durant, a supermax contract with that no trade clause in Bradley Beal. You got a scorer in Devin Booker that plays no defense. And the worst thing, no draft picks, highest payroll. They need to unplug this thing and restart it and see if they can reboot this thing. Because the Phoenix Suns, it's absolute hell for that franchise right now. It sucks too, because I mean, this is a franchise that has great players and they're a solid market and they're good for the NBA. But this is, I mean, James Jones. I mean, you look at what everyone's talking about fire Nico Harrison. I think James Jones is equally as bad, really. When you look at just tanking that roster and just how low just how much they did not exceed expectations. It was just an absolute terrible year in Phoenix, Noel.
Yeah, I don't know. Just looking back at that Bradley Beal trade, trading for him on that contract, trading for him when he was putting up empty stats on the Washington Wizards. You know, it's like, I hate to say, because I know you're a big Russell Westbrook fan, but that duo with him and Westbrook, they both tricked two franchises who were contending into trading so many good assets for them. Luckily, the Lakers have bounced back with this Luka trade years later, but I mean, the Phoenix Suns, like you said, they had a squad. They had a point guard who, of course, Chris Paul was aging, but still very productive. Devin Booker was their main star. Then you had great role players. You had Mikal Bridges, you had Cameron Payne, you had Cam Johnson. And now it looks like they're going to be back to where they were, kind of like a laughingstock of the league, where you're just rebuilding, you're not winning, you're losing for a long time despite having a franchise player. And I agree with everything you're saying. You know, having the highest payroll, having expectations on a team that really should have been competing in a wide open Western Conference, not even getting a chance at playoffs, is just really, really sad.
But as you bring up, I mean, everyone's talking about the Bradley Beal trade, and for rightfully so, because it was a terrible trade. But the nail in the coffin for the Suns was Yusuf Nurkic, Nasir Little, Keon Johnson, Grayson Allen, and then they get those guys. The Bucks end up with Damian Lillard, and they ship out DeAndre Ayton and Drew Holiday. He gets moved. Of course, he ends up in Boston. Kamara, and then the 2029 Bucks first round pick and the 2028 and 2030 Bucks swap goes to Portland. That trade was a disaster as well. And I think that the big kicker in all this is you got to be patient with your organization. You got to find that one foundational player you can build around. I think kind of the dirty little secret for them is I think Devin Booker is not the player that they actually thought he was. Like, he's good, but he's not like, oh, I'm number one, number two on a championship level team, just as a complete player. He just kind of lacks that next level thing. And then Bradley Beal, as you point out too, putting up stats in Washington where it's in the Eastern Conference, no expectations for that team. I mean, he's putting up a lot of like bubble big time number stats at the time a couple years back. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, it just, and a lot of teams Lakers wanted Bradley Beal, right? I mean,
just even at the time, I think even though like Devin Booker said it was the thing where like, how are they going to guard us? But bringing in a ball dominant scorer when you already have two ball dominant scorers and shifting Devin Booker to be a point guard when he's already, I mean, well into the prime of his career as a scorer, as a shooting guard, it never really made sense and it never came to fruition. They tried their best, but when you have guys that are getting paid that much, you can only get veteran minimum guys. Tyus Jones could have got a bag somewhere else, but he was like, let me come here and I'll play with all these guys. Hopefully I could help like inflate my assist numbers a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. And look, the bitter pill to swallow for them is that I mean, for a player to have a no trade clause, you expect it to be LeBron or Jokic, but to be Bradley Beal, I mean, that's just, he's a depreciating asset, not the player that he was in. Yeah, I mean, James Jones should be very excited that Nico Harrison did what he did, because he should be taking on the arrows. But let's switch gears to Jason Kidd. So Jason Kidd, after the Lakers Mavs the other night, we did a full breakdown yesterday. If you haven't seen that episode, if you get caught up, well, Jason Kidd, I think it's apparent right now that he definitely was not all in on the idea of trading Luka Doncic. And a lot of people have said it was the worst trade of all time, said at the very least it was the worst trade and most shocking trade in the modern era, which it was. People thought that they got sent-held, or that Shams got hacked, or that the world was ending. I mean, it was that bad. Well, the worst trade of all time before the Luka trade was widely universally considered the Boston Red Sox trading away Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees. And it wasn't even for players necessarily. It was for $100,000. It was for money to fund a Broadway musical known as No No Nanette. So imagine that. I'm trading my best player for money for a Broadway play. Definitely a different era. But Jason Kidd, he kind of said the quiet part out loud. And that is comparing the Luka Doncic trade to the Babe Ruth trade.
Happens, right? Trades happen. This won't be the last trade. Some are comparing it to Babe Ruth, which is kind of cool.
So some are comparing it to Babe Ruth. That is kind of cool. Is it? I think that means it's kind of embarrassing. I think it means that you made a terrible move that is going to destroy your franchise for years to come. And I did the math on that. Now, the curse for the Red Sox lasted 86 years. They won a World Series in 2004. They broke the curse. We'll go on to win multiple World Series after that. So by my calculations, if the Luka Doncic trade is as bad as the Babe Ruth trade, the next Dallas Mavericks title won't come until 2111. I don't even know how to even say that. 2011. So that's how long it's going to be until the Dallas Mavericks win another title. But if you're Jason Kidd saying this, kind of putting that out there, it really tells me that this truly was a move that was made right at the top. I think it was something that was organizational. And I do think that in this case, they're going to live to regret it for a long, long time. I do think the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, that trade, Paul George's trade Shai to the Thunder, get 5 first-round picks, that was awful. But I think this one, you can't even look at the assets in the trade. You look at what the player meant to the community. Shai didn't mean to the Clippers what Luka meant to the Mavericks. Even the current version of Shai, even the current version of SGA, gonna win MVP, top 3 player in the league, bona fide MVP, first team All-NBA. Even that version of Shai wouldn't have meant half as much to the Clippers as what Luka Doncic meant to the Dallas Mavericks. And it's tough to say why that is, but certain players have certain connections with certain franchises. And Luka, kind of the fandom that you get with him is a little different. And let's just be honest too. I mean, Clippers aren't the organization that the Mavericks are. So I just think that, just hearing Jason Kidd say that is a little wild. But what are your thoughts on that, Noel? I mean, kind of crazy to think. I mean, I know we've got sports media has definitely beaten this topic down to a dead horse right there. But I will say, hearing Jason Kidd throw it out there, you almost hear kind of some frustration in his voice.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I think coaches know it better than anyone else, better than fans, even better than teammates. When you have that guy that you could just rely on for so much, and that guy that you've been through so much together already with, losing him, especially if you didn't really have too much say in it, that would do. I mean, I'm sure Jason Kidd can't sleep at night seeing Luka in the Lakers jersey. I'm sure he can't sleep at night seeing that the Lakers even have a chance to win with Luka in their first year, to even make it back to the finals. Like, just making it back to the finals again is something that Jason Kidd would probably kill for. And to see him do it with a team that he won a championship with a couple years ago. It's just crazy. It's crazy that he said it. I'm happy that he's kind of putting that out there because he's hurting with the fan base too.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you hit it on the nail right there. I mean, it's tough. And you know what's crazy too is I think no one really mentions this enough is that the Luka trade to Lakers is the second worst Luka trade in his career.
Yes.
When the Hawks traded Luka Doncic, and yes, Trae Young,
so true,
he's not chopped liver, but something about Luka Doncic and people not valuing him appropriately. So I think that that's something as well. But yeah, I mean, in recent history, it's really tough to top. I mean, the Thunder trading Harden to the Rockets, he had stayed with OKC. It'd be interesting if Harden stayed with the Thunder and Russell. I feel bad for Russ. These last couple years are going to make people forget the great years that he did have. And when he was great, I mean, he was off the charts great. I mean, he was MVP. If you had Harden on that Thunder team, you could have stopped the Warriors dynasty, which would have, I mean, stopped KD from going. I mean, it's this domino effect, right? So I think as far as impactful trades, obviously Luka is a better player than James Harden is, even though James Harden's a great player. Yeah. But as far as kind of impactful, kind of moving the chess pieces around, that was a pretty terrible trade in the grand scheme of things. And then the Lakers are the one team that can somehow, some way make a trade as bad as the one they did for Russell Westbrook, where it really, we'll see if that single-handedly ended LeBron James' chance at another ring. It quite possibly has, but Luka does give them a chance. And then who can forget the KG and Paul Pierce trade? I mean, that was pretty terrible. Yeah. The Nets, they traded for two guys that were just absolutely washed and cooked at this stage of their careers. And they gave the Celtics essentially what ended up being Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, a championship out of it. That was a really bad trade that just keeps getting worse and worse. So, yeah, there are some bad trades, but and let's see what Luka does. But it definitely is going to be a part of the conversation. Okay, switching gears, a devastating, heartbreaking story in Major League Baseball. And this story continues really to get worse and worse the more news that comes out. But ex-Major League players Octavio Dotel, Tony Blanco, they died in a nightclub tragedy. And it happened in the Dominican Republic. The roof of an iconic nightclub collapsed. It was earlier this week, and officials, they said that at least 124 people were killed. That also included Nelson Cruz, the governor of the Northwestern province of Monte Cristi, and sister of seven-time Major League Baseball All-Star Nelson Cruz. Also, 255 more people were injured in the accident. Rescue crews, they're still looking for more survivors. And on Wednesday, they did rescue 145 people from the wreckage of the nightclub. And the emergency operations director, Juan Manuel Mendez, said, as long as they report that there are a missing person, we will be there. So they're continuing to look for missing victims. And it was put out in a statement by Rob Manfred. Major League Baseball is deeply saddened by the passing of Octavio Dotel, Tony Blanco, Nelson Cruz, and all the victims of last night's tragedy in Santo Domingo. We send our heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of all those who've been affected and our colleague Nelson and his entire family. The connection between baseball and the Dominican Republic runs deep, and we are thinking of all the Dominican players and fans across the game today. MLB Players Association Executive Director Tony Clark said that we grieve for all the victims and send special messages of support to the families of Octavio Dotel and Tony Blanco, who leave an unspeakable void with their passing, and Nelson Cruz, whose family lost a shining light with the death of his sister, Nelsie. So, yeah, just absolutely terrible. I mean, Dotel, 36 saves in his career with the Astros and Athletics in 2004. Just a great year and played in the league for 15 seasons. He was pulled out of the rubble 6 hours after the collapse, was still alive, and was transported to the hospital. The Dominican National Police said Dotel was taken to one of the designated hospitals, one that they were on the way to, and his condition worsened as they got there, and he passed away. So, yeah, started his Major League career in 1999 with the Mets. He was with the Cardinals, Won a World Series with them, 15 years, 13 teams, 109 saves, 3.78 ERA. Blanco, he played in 56 games with the Nationals. He was a big leaguer as well, but yeah, just an absolute tragedy. I mean, you hate to see this, just an absolute tragedy. Okay, lastly here, saw this on Instagram, and this is a cool graphic. Check out this graphic here, and it's Gen Z versus Millennials versus Gen X. And the debate is Gen Z, which has Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Millennials has Giannis Antetokounmpo, Steph Curry, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Nikola Jokic. And then Gen X, Kobe, Shaq, KG, Tim Duncan, and Allen Iverson. I'll go first on this one. And this is pretty tough. It is pretty tough because I think 5-on-5, the shot making and the modern game, I think we're playing a modern game. I got to go millennials, man. I got to go millennials. You got LeBron can be the ball handler, but can score. Steph can shoot the lights out. KD can shoot the lights out. Jokic can stretch. Giannis is dominant. I would go millennials, Gen X, and Gen Z on this one. Just because I think Wembanyama is still, we don't know exactly how great of a player he's going to be.
Yeah. So wait, can you read a Gen X to me again real quick?
So Gen X, you got KG, Shaq, Kobe, Duncan, AI. Millennials, Giannis, Steph, LeBron, KD, Jokic. And then Gen Z, you got Tatum, Luka, Ant, Wemby, and SGA.
Damn, man. I think I'm going to go with Gen X. I'm not going to lie. I mean, just Kobe and Shaq alone, I think nobody's stopping that pick and roll right there. And then you got Timmy D, one of the best two-way players ever. You got KG, who's going to be going to work on both ends, going to crack all of these dudes' minds. And AI, I mean, everybody's going to forget about AI, and then he's just going to be going crazy. I'm going to go with those five right there. That's a nasty five.
My whole thing is that Kobe and AI, they're going to fight for those final shots.
Oh, that's true.
They're going to want to have that rock in their hands. And AI defensively, he's going to be running around with Steph Curry while Steph Curry, the best shooters, popping threes. Who matches up with LeBron? KG? Kobe guarding LeBron?
They went at it multiple times. Like Kobe will get the upper hand.
Kobe had success against LeBron, but I'm just saying, I mean, all defensive Kobe definitely gives him a run for his money, but I think that
I don't know if, all right, here's the thing.
The millennials can stretch and create so much space.
Going out to the 3-point line, it'll be close, but I don't know, maybe Phoenix KD, but he'll be able to keep up. I don't know if he can. What do you think? Timmy D guarding KD at the 3-point line, a prime KD?
I would never, ever bet against Kevin. I never did bet against Tim Duncan when it comes to defense. He found a way. He was much better on his feet than he's given credit for.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think that if it's peak Shaq and he actually wants it, I think he'd feast on Giannis. But no, this is a tough call. I think millennials in like 7.
KG and Giannis would be a great matchup. That would be a battle.
KG and Giannis would be a really good matchup for sure. I think I mean, if you're going to draft all these players, I mean, I think Shaq right towards the top, LeBron right towards the top. And then as far as, I mean, Giannis is like a role player on that team, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like I look at it this way. Who's the role player on each team? Iverson's the role player on Gen X. Giannis is like the role player on millennials. Their role player, if you had to pick one, their fifth option is better. Gen Z is going to be fun, but they're TBD. I mean, you got Tatum. The aura is not right there for the Gen Z.
Gen Z, there's not a lot of winners on that list. We're just seeing Victor for the first time, like really. And of course, Jason Tatum got a chip, but Shai doesn't have one. Luka doesn't have one.
That's a good
Anthony
point.
Doesn't have one. Versus all of Gen X. I mean, that's an elite tier right there.
That's a good point. And millennials, everyone has a chip. Gen X, everyone but AI has a chip. Gen Z, only Tatum has a chip, and he didn't win Finals MVP during that run.
And Luka's the only guy that made the finals from the rest of the crew. Yeah. So we'll have to revisit this graphic.
That's a crazy debate. That's a crazy debate. But that's to do over this episode of The Big Lead. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at PMac_LA. Shout out to the producer, Rob, and my man, Noel Sanchez, rocking with us. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend. And until next time, I'm out.